All right, let's jump right in. We tend to think of history as, well, history. It's done, right? The story's been written. But what if the version we all got in school was just one draft? And a pretty heavily edited one at that. This quote, man, it just hits you, right? It's from the scholar Roxanne Dunbar Ortiz, and it really sets the stage for us. The idea is that the very ground we walk on is just layered with stories, histories that have been pushed down, buried, totally silenced. Our official story, the one we all know, is basically built right on top of all these untold ones. And that right there is the big question we're tackling today. What if everything you think you know, the timeline you memorized for that history test, the heroes you see statues of, what if all of that is just one tiny chapter in a much, much bigger story? A story that's been hidden on purpose. So to really dig into that idea, we're going to look at two completely different challenges to the official story. One of them is coming straight out of the universities, from academics, and the other one, well, let's just say it's coming from way, way out there. Okay, so first up, from the academic side, is this term you might hear a lot now, settler colonialism. It's a really important idea for understanding how countries like the US were formed. And it's not just about conquest, winning a war. It's something different. The whole point isn't just to take over and steal resources. The goal is to replace the people who are already there, to literally erase them and their culture so you can claim the land as brand new, like nobody was ever there. It's a policy of elimination, pure and simple. And this is where you really see the two stories clash. The myth, manifest destiny, this idea that it was some divine mission to settle a big, empty land. But the reality, the buried story, the Americas were anything but empty. We're talking millions of people, complex civilizations, huge road networks, and farming that could support massive cities. Then you have the myth of the Indian Wars, like it was some fair fight between two cultures. The reality? Historians now show it was a calculated policy of genocide. The goal was to wipe people out to get their land. And it's not just the what, it's the when. Even our most basic timeline is falling apart. The story we all learned was simple, right? People crossed the Bering Land Bridge 13,000 years ago. End of story. But now, we're finding sites, especially down in South America, that are pushing that date back by thousands of years. And get this, with new tech like LiDAR, which is basically like a laser X-ray for the ground, we're seeing through the Amazon rainforest. And what's under there is blowing people's minds. I'm talking vast, planned cities with perfect geometric shapes and road systems that history completely forgot about. Okay, so it's pretty clear the history of the Americas has had a major rewrites. But let's take this idea and just zoom all the way out. What if it wasn't just one continent's history that was colonized? What if it was the story of humanity itself? And that's where we get into the really wild stuff. This is the other challenge, the one from the fringes. It comes from interpretations of ancient Sumerian texts. The theory goes like this. These beings, called the Anunnaki, didn't just live in myths. They were real. They came from the sky, needed gold for some reason, and to get it, they genetically engineered us, early humans, to be their miners. So think about this for a second. You've got these two massive challenges to the official story. One is coming from respected university historians. The other is talking about aliens creating humanity to mine gold. I mean, they couldn't be more different, right? And yet, they both point to the exact same conclusion. The story we've been told is nowhere near the whole truth. It's fundamentally broken. All right, let's shift gears, because this isn't just about ancient history. What if the story of our modern world, the technology we use every single day, is also missing a few key chapters? What if our entire technological future could have been completely different? It's time to talk about Nikola Tesla. Now, Tesla, he wasn't your average inventor tinkering in a workshop. The guy's brain worked on a whole other level. He said he didn't need to build models or run experiments. He could literally build, test, and perfect his most complicated inventions completely inside his head. And when he finally put the thing together in the real world, it just worked perfectly the first time. And this incredible mind is what led him to bet everything on alternating current, AC power. This put him head-to-head with his old boss Thomas Edison, who had all his money and direct current, or DC. And Edison fought dirty. To make AC look bad, he started a whole smear campaign, publicly electrocuting animals, dogs, cats, even an elephant, just to scare people. But in the end, the better tech won. Tesla's AC powered the Chicago World's Fair. it tamed Niagara Falls, and it's the very same system that's powering the screen you're watching this on right now. But here's the thing. For Tesla, AC power was just step one. His real dream, his ultimate vision, was something so much bigger it's hard to even wrap your head around. He was convinced that all of space was filled with this limitless energy. He called it the ether. And he figured out a way to tap into it, not just to create power, but to send it wirelessly all over the globe, for free. Yeah, free energy. That's the idea. And the story goes that his main investor, the famous banker J.P. Morgan, listened to this whole plan and then asked a simple question. If anyone can just draw on the power, where do we put the meter? And that says it all, doesn't it? It wasn't a science problem, it was a business problem. How do you make money off something that's free for everyone? You don't. So J.P. Morgan pulled his money, and Tesla's dream died right there. But, ideas like that don't ever truly die. They just echo. Take a look at this grassroots thing happening now called electroculture. It sounds kind of out there, but the idea is super simple. Gardeners are sticking these little antennas made of copper wire and wood into the ground. They believe it pulls in atmospheric energy from the air and helps plants grow bigger and healthier without needing a ton of fertilizer. It's like a tiny backyard version of Tesla's massive vision, tapping into the invisible energy that's all around us. So, okay, we've looked at a hidden history of a continent and a hidden history of technology. But so what? Why does any of this actually matter? Well, it matters because the stories we tell ourselves, the official stories, they aren't just stories. They have very real, very serious consequences in the world. Just look at this number, 5%. That's it. That's how many Indigenous people in Ontario speak an Indigenous language as their mother tongue. And that didn't just happen by accident. That is the direct result, the legacy, of a system that was designed to crush one story to make room for another. That number, that's the real human cost of burying a story. And that's why this quote is so on point. Research is not an innocent academic exercise. Deciding what history to teach, what science to fund, what ideas are crazy, and what ideas are legitimate, none of that is neutral. It's a power move. It has real stakes that can determine whether a culture survives or a scientific breakthrough happens. And look, it doesn't matter if the story is being carved into an ancient clay tablet or blasted out by a social media algorithm. The fundamental question is, and always has been, the same. Who is in control of the story? Who gets to hit publish on reality? Because the price we pay for not asking that question is huge. For a whole society, it means you can never have true reconciliation because you're pretending the past didn't happen. For knowledge itself, it means you push geniuses like Tesla to the margins. And for you, for me, it means we end up with this world of capsule journalism, just quick, easy, sensational headlines instead of the messy, complicated, and often uncomfortable truth. So here's the bottom line. The official story is almost never the whole story. It's just a place to start asking questions. And that brings me to my last question, and this one is just for you. Take a look around at your own world, the things you believe, the way you see your country. What's the one thing, the one story you've always accepted as true without ever really questioning why?